Hey there folks, Kozzi here for Pick 1 Pack 1, running through Jekk's Bounty on a budget. And this time we are up to the Praxis Fugitive, which I think is one of the funner ones to build decks for. I really enjoy this particular mission. The rule is at the end of each player's turn you get a Time Sigil. And so the two decks that I have are both quite a lot of fun. The first of which was built basically by putting in the keyword empower and finding as many cards as we can that do so. So awakened students get bigger every time we empower. We have some removal. Gilded Glaive gets bigger every time you empower. Order of the Spire is one of the key rares in this particular build, and I recognize that it's not a card that you use a lot in ranked. So if need be, swap it out, but it just gets so fun attacking with a 999 in no time that I couldn't resist but put it in for my rare allotment here. The reason why is because its power and health gets doubled every time power comes in, which is the other reason why I'm tempted to find myself some ways, which is one of the promo cards from the most recent set but can now be crafted and found in limited. We have Ancient Law to help us draw into our good creatures, and then we have some really expensive cards. You'll notice that I have a pretty weird curve up over here. It's basically like a roller coaster, and that's because I know that I'm going to be getting to expensive cards because the game is giving me extra power every single turn. Civic Peacekeeper is important because it deals with the Ancient Terrazon that your opponent has in their deck, and stunning units allows you to get through. Giving your units flying allows you to get through those final points of damage, and then Pillar of Amar is the key engine card in this deck. Before you know it, you're going to have a whole army of 5/5s to go in and smash some face. I have a slightly imbalanced power base here because I know that I'm going to be getting my Time Sigils, so instead I've just got Justice Sigils to make sure I hit them. And then the other rare included in the deck is I've got a couple of Copper Conduits because they're just so good. I can cast them as a 2-drop 2/2 if I need to, or they could be a 12-drop 12/12. And all of those are happy. And then the other things that aren't Empower units, a couple of silence effects, a guy who can possibly get my Order of the Spire huge, and then some reasonable blockers. Very simple little Combrei deck, all designed to try and take advantage of Empower. And it's worth noticing that if you got lucky and you happen to get some of the more powerful Empower cards, then feel free to put them in. If you happen to get a Mystic Ascendant, put as many of those in as you can find, because being able to draw a card every single turn is amazing. Likewise, if you happen to get a Marshal Ironthorn, or even more reasonable ones like the Rare and the Darkened Staff, pop them in. No reason not to. Perfectly fine card in this scenario. The other deck that I built is a lot more fun and a little bit more janky. It's basically an attempt to try and make Xenan Cultist work as well as possible, and it's because of this particular Empower card right here, the Ephemeral Wisp. Now, I recognize that this uses a few more rares than usual, but it does fit into a Praxis Killers deck that you can run in Ranked. It might not be one that you build to copy exactly, but it's just too fun not to show, so I couldn't help myself. Again, couple of Copper Conduits, and then we're trying to get these Ephemeral Wisps into the graveyard, because every time they're in the graveyard and you play a power, they return from the void back to the battlefield. And if you have a Xenan Cultist in play, that means that they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the unique things about Eternal is that if you put a keyword on a card, it stays even when it comes back from the void. So we're trying to Dark Return our creatures back. We're trying to Predator's Instinct. We have the other pair of rares, although I would have liked to put in more, but I've limited myself to 8 rare cards in total. Is a pair of Dawnwalkers, so that when I play powerful creatures, they just come back in from the void. And then we have a couple of ways to facilitate that. Beastcaller's Amulet, we have Friendly Wisps that let me draw cards when I play powerful creatures, because ideally these are going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Ancient Law to draw into creatures that also make it bigger. Some of the best removal in the game. And then Timekeeper, it gets bigger for each time influence I have, so why not? And then finally some creatures that I'm happy to go, and of course the obligatory Pillar of Amar. Likewise, slightly imbalanced power base, and I've made advantage of having a couple of monuments because I know that I'm going to get to 5. By turn 5 I'm going to have 5 power, so why not put them in? Indeed, one could argue that you even want to put more in than that, but I didn't want to get too greedy. I just wanted to show the principles. So let's get into it. I'm excited to get up to these next 4. This is where the deck building gets quite interesting. And hopefully we'll have some sweet games for you. So the key to this particular one is to basically throw back your hand until you get an Order of the Spire, because your amount of power doesn't actually matter. Here we have an amazing hand, Awakened Student to Order of the Spire. Pretty hard to go wrong. It's worth noting that they do have Alchemical Blasts as their removal in this deck, so you want to get your guys up from 2 as fast as possible. So next turn I'll be able to play my Awakened Student, make it big enough so it's safe, and hold up Finest Hour as protection. And then the turn after I'll be able to do the same with the Order of the Spire. Now there's no need to worry too much about the deadly creatures and things like that. Sooner or later we'll draw in the cards that are really helpful for us here. So I'm just playing conservatively with my power just to get these guys started for now. And so I can make sure that I still have my protection up. But once we start to play these Find the Ways, we're really going to start doing some good things. This guy gets a little bit... Oh, sorry, not the Wisp. I thought it was the other one that turns into a blocker that keeps coming back from the void. So I have a choice. I can either Ancient Law or I can Find My Way a lot of times. I think for now I just want to find the more useful cards in my deck. I want to have the opportunity to start to stun. Ooh, and that hurts. So I made a mistake by not playing my Justice Sigil straight away there. Fortunately, we still have this guy to tick away and do his thing. Okay, I'm not going to be able to afford this Peacekeeper for a long time. What I think I will do, though, is I'm going to use my Time Sigil soon. So that I can silence this guy and get an attack in. They have 6 power. So when I get this guy up to 8, or even 9, we'll be fine. And then once we start playing extra Sentinels, we'll be able to attack wide and get them in real trouble. You'll notice that they've almost run out of resources entirely. So they have 7, 8, 9 power if they want to block. So I think we'll Vanquish here, which opens up an attack for us. We can attack with anything that can survive 5 health. And you'll see here just how quickly Pillar of Amar gets totally out of control in this scenario. We'll grab some more power to make sure that the only thing I'm going to be drawing are useful units or spells. So I'm very much reducing my odds of drawing sigils anymore. It really doesn't matter though. They are beyond dead. And so by this stage, if my Order of the Spire hadn't have died, they would have become 2-2, then a 4-4, then an 8-8, then a 16-16, then a 32-32, and by this stage they would have been absolutely huge. And because we're attacking so wide, I don't mind the fact that they can get profitable double blocks on me. Really doesn't matter at all. I have a pretty good answer to how this could happen. I just basically searched in for the keyword Empower. And now for the one that I'm really looking forward to. This should be fun. So here we have the Xenan Cultist, which is a start. We don't have any creatures to bring back, but it'll get us started, and we have some removal to deal with things in the meantime. And so long as they can't double cost the Pillar of Amar, we'll be casting that very soon and being in a great position. What you really want to see is a Xenan Cultist plus a creature that wants to come back from the graveyard. If you can cast the two of those together, then you have the beginning of your engine. And especially as our opponent has so little interaction, once you get a creature with a health of 3 or greater down, they're likely to stay there for the rest of the game. We'll hold up the Death Strike in case there's something truly terrifying, but then next turn we'll cast the Pillar of Amar and start to rock and roll. I might not even have the chance to actually show just how well this little combo can work, so we might just kill them from the power of Pillar of Amar alone. We won't cast this turn, because next turn what we can do is we can cast the Pillar of Amar, then next turn we'll cast the Friendly Wisp, we'll empower it, and then that Sentinel will trigger the Friendly Wisp. So it's just a case of waiting one turn. An argument could have been made that I should have used my Death Strike in the turn before, but I just feel so comfortable with making my army of 5/5s that I'm not even that nervous about this Twin Brood Sauropod at all. That one's a little annoying. I'll admit that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill the Twin Broods so we can get in with as many attacks as possible. They don't have any power up to use the Alchemical Blast on my Cultist, so we'll attack there as well. So even though this is unorthodox, you'll see how quickly we can bring up this Friendly Wisp. It's not the ideal unit for what I actually want to be doing, and we're missing out a little bit on the janky shenanigans I've had for the last few times I've played with this. So, if I want to put the Caller's Amulet on one of these, that would just be the one that he's forced to block. I'm forcing him to block anyway, so it doesn't seem like there's much point in doing that right now. And I'm actually holding back the Dark Return just because I'm hoping I can draw a card that will start to show off what this deck can do. One of the cute things is how this card can trigger itself. So by putting the Beast Caller's Amulet on it, by doing damage, it will then create a beast. The beast is a 5/5, which then triggers this. And we can continue the same routine all over again. An absolute army of cockroaches. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so this is the kind of unit that we want to start running in with. I want to work out if I'm happy for any of these guys to die. I think we can afford to wait. If we attack this way, we're doing 6 damage in the air to begin with. If we kill one of their units, they have 4 blocks, which means they're forced to block straight up and down the line. But they can get profitable blocks with this 1 cockroach on either of my 2 Xenan cultists. That being said, we probably should go for the win rather than for showing off the fun stuff. So let's play it as such. They have 5 blockers, we have, well, we can kill their flyer, so this is comprehensively over. And just for a bit of fun, I want to bring back something powerful so I can see what extra cards I'll draw. Yeah, let's really rub it in. And there you have it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to show you the junky stuff, which I'm disappointed about. But if you do happen to have the cards around, geez, I was having fun before. We play things like Ephemeral Wisp, give them Killer, choose to chump block with it so it goes in the graveyard, becoming a 2/3, bring it back, hit something, goes in the graveyard, bring it back, hit something. You can have a lot of fun with this build. But even then, I guess it just goes to show you, efficiently costed creatures with way too much power thanks to the Praxis Fugitive's ability. You can do some great stuff. So join us next time when we make tokens, because I think that's the best way to deal with the deranged Dynamancer, or the mad Dynamancer. I've been Kozzi running through this Jekk's Bounty series on a budget. For Pick 1 Pack 1, feel free to like, subscribe, share, watch the other videos, whatever you want. It's your life, you can make your choices. Until then, I will see you guys sometime soon. Have a good one.